Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Vakil. Here are the headlines. It is a tepid start to this trade on Thursday with the Nifty and Sensex trade with the marginal moves. Volatility trades around the mark of 18. And Piyush Goyal will be representing the vote on account on February 1st as the interim finance minister in Arun Jaitley's absence. Traders take fresh long positions in Ujjivan Financial after the NBFC reports a strong set of numbers in the third quarter. Vodafone Idea gains as much as 4% in early trade after the board approves a 25,000 crore fundraising plan. And in Yes Bank and Ultratech are the two Nifty companies that will be reporting their December quarter numbers today.
Okay, let's see what the markets are doing at this point of time. Flat as far as the Nifty is concerned. We're down just 9 points on the Nifty. There's absolutely no traction that's happening on the Nifty. Pull up the Nifty Bank. And so if you're seeing the Nifty open interest is down by almost 1.3%. Pull up the Nifty Bank and see where the traction is. That also is absolutely flat. Even the open interest is declining. Again, at 11,000 and 10,900. There seems to be a lot of resistance that's happening. In today's trade, the call writers are active at 10,900 and 11,000, given the fact that the market is showing some bit of weakness in today's trade. So there is a negative traction that's happening. Pull up the total open interest where positions are taken. Yes, 10,800 to 11,000 seems to be the broad range that the market is looking at. So that's a trend that we're looking at. Agam, what are you spotting?
I'm going to start off with those stocks which are seeing a surge in open interest, and I'm going to talk about a bunch of them. Of course, Ujjivan Financial made a mention of which is looking at a 7% up move here. Ujjivan Financial is clearly making a little bit of a recovery, so to speak, after reeling under pressure for the most of 2018 and coming back very strongly in the pardon me, in the month of December, and now continued strength coming through. Look at Interglobe Aviation. It began the day with a loss and cut of nearly 1%, and it is now up 4%. Well, markets clearly liking the earnings coming through, which was announced at the fag end of the markets yesterday. And Pidilite, on the other hand, reeling under pressure, again on account of weak earnings, pressure on margins. Equitas Holding, gaining in tandem with Ujjivan Financial, and Tata Elxsi seeing pressure with shorts building in 6% added open interest. So a lot of interesting stocks out there. An unusual one. These stocks don't usually show up on your gainers. But look at KPIT Technologies. Now we have to remember that KPIT Technologies is now a trading its engineering business. Its engineering business will list on the exchanges in March. So based on the fair value that we are working with, about 110 rupees, it is still at a premium. It's currently at around 127. But moving on to Adani Ports, SBI and TV18, those are also seeing some amount of traction. I'm going to be watching out for a whole host of these stocks as we move into trade today.
Okay, so some of the stocks that we will focus on in trade today. First of all, Agam already spoke about how KPI is moved, and we'll talk about that. But we'll speak on some of the, these are all the result based. So Ujjivan has managed to rally post strong numbers. So has Interglobe. So that has rallied. Pidilite was weak in morning trade, but has managed to rebound. Equitas on the back of Ujjivan strong number has managed to move up. And JSPL continues its downtrend, trading rather weak in trade. So these are some of the stocks that we will discuss in trade today. But before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder, if you have any queries regarding the stocks that I just spoke about or the broader markets, you can call us on 02245404141 or write to us on Twitter, Facebook with the Ask BQ hashtag. You can also write to us on the YouTube in the comment section. But before that, let's welcome our F&O experts for the day. Bhavin Mehta of Dolat Capital and Amit Gupta of ICICI Securities joins us on the show. Good morning to both of my guests. Bhavin, I'll start with you. What's the view that you're having on the Nifty? What kind of strategy are you recommending?
Okay, as long as Nifty is concerned, anticipating Nifty to remain much range bound over next couple of series. So anticipating Nifty to trade in a range between 10,500 on the downside to 11,000 on the upside. Now, having said that, what we have observed during the series is good amount of put writing at lower levels. So 10,700 has seen consistent put writing. At the same time, on upside, 11,000 remains a crucial level. And given the fact that today is the Bank Nifty expiry, and over last couple of trading weeks, Bank Nifty traded in the range of 27,000 to 28,000, not expecting any major changes with respect to the same, and from current level, anticipating some amount of pullback from Bank Nifty as well. So, recommending sell on Nifty 10,700 put, which is currently quoting in the range of 49 to 55 with stop loss of 60, target of 20.
Okay, well, that's Bhavin's strategy when it comes to, well, the Nifty. Of course, at this point in time, we are looking at that sell input. Bhavin, I know if it's possible, can you offer us something on the Bank Nifty as well? It may not necessarily be an option strategy, but what's your view here?
Okay, so in the initial trade, what we have observed is consistent amount of call writing happening at 27,400 and 27,500 calls on Bank Nifty. Both of them have added close to about 1 million plus sale. So definitely upside on that particular part is getting kept, but in line with what we have been observing, anticipating this level of about 27,200, to remain a crucial level. 27,000 as a stop loss, one can look to buy at lower levels, anticipating once again Bank Nifty to move closer to 27,400 to 500. Also, if you look at the constituent of Bank Nifty, so basically the top four heavyweights are placed at very crucial supports, and any probable uptick on those names can actually help Bank Nifty in today's trade.
Okay, Amit, what do you have for us? What's your strategy?
See, broadly, Nifty, has remained directionless in a range. I mean, we have seen that whenever it has moved towards 11,000, it seems to be giving a breakout, but it does not happen. And whenever it falls, it seems to be giving a breakdown. And despite the S&P US markets falling by 20%, we have not seen Nifty giving a breakdown. So broadly, it is absorbing the negative flows. First of all, that is very positive thing. And it may be a matter of time when it will start giving a breakout above 11,000. So that may happen possibly post budget. But for the time being, what has happened in the last two sessions, the volatility has surged. Now it has surged, so that means it's an opportunity, because we are moving towards the expiry of January series now. So the January series option premiums which have spurted because of this higher volatility can be shorted now, because Nifty is ultimately in a range. Now 10,700 put and 11,000 call options combined, they are available around 100 rupees of premium. So if you can write this, today is Thursday, and another after this only 5 sessions will be left. In between Saturday and Sunday are there where time value will come in your favor. So you can write both of these put and call options, the lower put and higher call, and eventually with the decline in, because of the time decay effect, these premiums will start declining, which is the benefit to you. So we are targeting around 5 to 10 rupees of total premium of both of these strikes.
Okay, so this particular strategy looks very much like selling a strangle, because Amit is actually selling a 10,700 put and he's selling a 10,000, rather 11,000 call as well. But that said, Amit, if you could also take us through, your stock calls for the day. How are you placing your bets here?
So it's a mixed market right now. We have seen some uptrending stocks also, and that is where I think if you see on the upside, we have seen certain FMCG stocks also getting trended. We have seen how United Breweries and Colgate kind of stocks have remained quite firm. That is one space we can look at. But as we are moving towards budget, we are focusing more on the infrastructure space. And I think this space can see some traction now. So Container Corporation is one stock where we are going long at these levels, which is around 660 or 670. It has come down from 700 for the last 1 year. It has not been able to take out 700 levels, and from there it has fallen again. So, but if you look at the data in F&O, I mean, we have seen a very significant closure of short positions this time in Container Corporation. So, almost 42% of closure we have seen. So, I think this kind of decline can be used as a buying opportunity, because ultimately this data setup shows that the stock can give a breakout. Now, this is one of those very few PSU stocks which has shown resilience. Otherwise, most of the stocks are down. The resilience may be because it is out from the CPSE ETF basket recently, because the government holding came below 55%. So that may be one of the reasons which is giving some cushion that now at least the government selling may not come in the stock. So looking from that perspective and looking at the delivery pickup, which has again picked up 6-month high delivery, we have seen around 360 levels. So my sense is these may be a good levels, to start buying the stock, and look for a target of around 740 on the higher side, considering that the breakout may be there on the cards now in the stock. Second, we are short in Jubilant Food. Now, Jubilant Food is something where whenever the market has surged recently from the lower band of 10,800 to 11,000, we have not seen any surge coming in Jubilant Food recently. Rather, it remained under pressure below 1200 levels, and there was a steep rise in open interest that possibly has come in the short side, and because of that we believe the stock can drift further down. It can fall towards 1120 from the current levels of 1180 or 1175. So I think one can initiate the short positions, and the stop loss can be kept beyond 1200, because that is where the pressure is building up throughout this series. So my sense is, as we are moving towards expiry, if it starts slipping further, this slip can be can have more velocity on the downside. So these two stocks in the long and short side can be definitely be looked at.
Okay, before we move on to Bhavin's stock, pull up KPIT Technologies. It's the demerged arm that is listed, a huge block. 1.2 crore shares are traded in a single block on the Bombay Stock Exchange, and the counter has managed to rally it another 5-7 rupees. So it's managed to rally. If we can pull up the intraday graph also, you will have much more traction. But nevertheless, this is one of the stocks that we will discuss in trade later. Yeah, so that's the view that's coming in on KPIT Tech. Remember, the listing happened at 10 o'clock, so we're just 15 minutes into trade for KPIT Tech. But Bhavin, I'll come to you. Which are the stocks that you're watching out for today?
Okay, so today what we are looking at is good amount of buying traction coming in for most of the PSU names, and anticipating a strong uptick coming in for SBI. The stock has once again taken support around previous trend line levels, and is trying to bounce back in today's trade. Stock is currently quoting around level of 287, anticipating up move towards level of 295. Stop loss on this particular counter should be kept around level of 284. Second one will be IOCL, where I am anticipating an uptick to come. Stock is currently quoting around level of 137. Stop loss is 135. Target price close to about 142. And this stock in particular has created a good base in the range of 134 to 137. And post announcement of the buyback, the stock has witnessed a sharp correction. So my sense is that this particular level offers a decent upside for IOC as well.
Okay, well, there are a bunch of stocks out there which are in focus, and there are those which our experts have recommended. But I'm going to move on and start taking up well, some of the stocks that we want to address in today's day of trade. Let's start off with Ujjivan Financial. What a strong quarter. We've spoken about how Ujjivan Financial has actually moved, and it's actually trading at day's highs today as well. It's up 7% now, and open interest surging by as much as 32%. We've seen a lot of strength in Ujjivan Financial. If we can pull out perhaps a 3-month or a 1-month chart and see the kind of traction that we've seen in Ujjivan, particularly in in the recent times. So about a 12% increase on a 1-month basis. That's your 3-month gains coming through, so around 35%. So resurgence is evident in Ujjivan Financial, and we're clearly seeing a lot of longs building up into the system as well. Let me go across to Amit again. Amit, Ujjivan Financial, a lot of longs now. Of course, this is on the back of changing fundamentals, but how are the charts looking to you?
So if you look at both Ujjivan and Equitas, they were quite heavy in the short positions actually in the last few series back. But recently, in the last couple of series, we have seen those short rollovers are getting lower. These stocks are getting some strength, and this may be on the basis that the government is looking to give more relief package to the farmers, and that is very much likely in the coming budget. So my sense is both of these stocks should remain in momentum for the time being, at least till budget. So from the expiry perspective, because they were quite heavy in shorts, my sense is further short covering can be seen. So in that case, what momentum you are seeing in Ujjivan right now, it may catch up soon in Equitas also, and that can also perform. So because Ujjivan has already moved up this much, my sense is you can shift some of the short-term positions to Equitas also, because that can also give you good move. So till budget, at least till this expiry, you can hold on these positions.
Okay, also pull up Interglobe Aviation. That's another counter which has managed to move up in trade today. Post the numbers, it's up 3.5–4% if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's up 4% at this point of time. Huge open interest build up 24%. Bhavin, would you go long on Interglobe Aviation at this level?
Stock has already witnessed good amount of uptick. These numbers, I believe, most of the participants were anticipating on higher side. So I'm anticipating stock to witness some amount of positive momentum, but will not rule out some amount of supply around level of 1165 to 1170. At this particular level, I would not look out to create a fresh long in this particular counter. We'll wait for stock to cool off before taking a fresh long position.
Okay, Bhavin, I also wanted to address what's going on with ITC, and I remember, reading one of your notes yesterday where you had suggested that there was a lot of writing around the 310 and 300 calls. Of course, post the results, we did see a little bit of a drop in ITC, and in fact, the drop was pretty severe too. It was down 4%. It ended the day with 4% declines yesterday. Today, what we're seeing is a little bit of recovery and, in fact, short covering. How are you reading cues on ITC now, Bhavin? What would you do with ITC?
Okay, so what we were observing was basically good amount of call writing in this particular stock yesterday prior to numbers, and historically 295 305 has always been a supply zone for this particular counter. Now with stock reversing from those particular levels to close to about 275 to 70 range, where I believe that we have seen a good risk reward ratio on the long side. So stock historically has taken good support around 270, even in yesterday's trade when the stock corrected very sharply. What we were looking at, no major unwinding of put lower than 280 strike. So my sense is that once again participants would look out to buy this particular counter at lower levels. Definitely some concerns from fundamental point of view, but nonetheless historically the price support remains very strong around those levels. So definitely if another probably stock has run up today, but any particular decline towards 275, I would again like to go long on this particular counter.
Okay, Pidilite is another counter which we want to talk about. Had actually fallen significantly in trade, in morning trade. I don't know whether it's recovered or no. Yeah, again, it's down. It's come off the day's low, but nevertheless, it's trading up. Fresh short positions are being built. Amit, what should one do in Pidilite? Is there a sign of weakness, or is this showing any signs of bouncing back?
See, it has already seen a good move from the lower levels to again the life highs, almost the life highs. So my sense is there is always a risk now in the stock because crude has already come down. So that kind of benefit is already there in the price now, and the results were not that kind of big surprisingly positive. So my sense is the people who were quite long in the stock, the leverage was quite high. So they will start liquidating their positions now. So I will be little worried from this expiry perspective. So my sense is if you are long, try to exit from the stock. And once the market gets stable or the fresh long buildup starts coming in, only then we will start going into the stock now. But for the time being, there is a worry. These long positions, which were quite high in number, they may start getting closed now. So it may lead to long closer pressure. So try to exit from your positions.
Okay, so Amit has spoken about Ujjivan Financial and Equitas Holdings as well. So let's get in, Bhavin, on this, perhaps specifically on Equitas Holding too, a little more, because we do have view on Ujjivan. Let's pull up Ujjivan, pardon me, Equitas Holdings. Now, this one is again, moving up in tandem and moving in congruence with Ujjivan Financial. Equitas is up to 3.3%, and its open interest has surged as much as 7%. It's clearly seeing longs as well. And there's been a little bit of change here as well. If you can take a look at the 1 month chart for Equitas Holdings and see how that one has done in respect to the microfinance industry, and actually not that well. It's actually clearly underperformed Ujjivan Financial Services. If you pull up the 3 month chart, again, it's actually down 2%. So it's clearly not done too much. There's been very little appreciation. In fact, there's been no appreciation in 1 month or 3 months for Equitas Holdings in general on a net basis. But keeping all these factors in mind, Bhavin, taking Equitas Holding as a standalone, how are you placed on this one now?
Okay, definitely we continue to prefer Ujjivan to Equitas even at current level. So what we have seen is today specific with respect to media reports that we have seen that Ujjivan is trying to learn from the Kotak Mahindra Bank's mistakes, which is a good sign. Participants definitely like that particular stock in view of the same. As far as Equitas is concerned, what we have observed is good amount of supply in the range of 125 to 130. So unless the stock do not move above level of 130, higher level will continue to attract supply in this particular counter. Also at the same time, 115 level will be crucially watched. Now what we have observed in the previous fall was that 115 we had seen some amount of consolidation in this particular counter. So on downside, now if it breaks, because it is already underperforming, and now if it breaks level of 115, I would be very cautious counter. At the same time, would watch out 125 level or higher, 125 to 130 range. Any break above 130 will be clear long, but till that time I would not like to place a long bet at this particular level, knowing that risk reward ratio is not that favorable.
Okay, the other stock that we want to talk about is JSPL. Metals as a pack has not been doing well. So let's pull up JSPL and see what it's doing. It's down another 1% at 138. Amit, not long ago, JSPL was trading above levels of 210, 220. Now it's at 130. So what should one do? Does it look like an opportunity to accumulate a counter, or is there potential more weakness?
No, I think it's an avoid for the timing. If you look at the international commodity prices, they are also lingering at the lower levels. In fact, the US-China trade talks again, which was supposed to be of the senior officials, which were supposed to be toward the Jan end. Now, because of some telecom news restrictions, I think that is also maybe postponed. So that will also put some pressure on these commodities. So if you look at particularly the heavyweights like Hindelco, like Tata Steel, in Hindelco, particularly below 216 or 215, we had seen a very sharp build-up of short positions. Now, still the stocks are not able to recover. So it is possible as we are moving towards expiry, they may again further go down. So in my sense, we should not, start buying these stocks. And JSPL, which had already seen a breakdown when it declined from 160 or 170 range, my sense is it can go down further towards 125. So rather than looking at buying at lower levels, still we need to wait for another couple of weeks, let this expiry being over, and let the budget being over, and then finally if the market is stable here, then we can expect some short covering, or the international commodity prices, if we start seeing some surge over there, that may be the first trigger actually.
Okay, well, before we conclude this show, I'm going to go back to our experts and see if there is anything interesting that's popping up on their screens. So, Bhavin, I'm going to come to you with over an hour down in this particular session. Anything interesting other than the stocks that we've already discussed, or perhaps a view?
Okay, so I'm looking out for Yes Bank today. What we have seen is good amount of selling pressure above 200 levels. It had tried 2 times to move above level of 210. Unfortunately, failed to sustain the same. stock lingers in the range of 190 to 200. So in case stock now falls below level of 192, numbers are going to be there today. I would be very cautious. Would like to look at it from short position.
And Amit, what about you? Anything interesting that's showing up on your screen?
I think certain pharma names can be looked at for going in the long side. If you look at Dr. Reddy's, it has remained quite resilient actually above 2650. So it can move towards 2750 or 2800 levels. In fact, Aurobindo Pharma also, for the last 2 or 3 quarters I am observing, it is giving good quarterly results. So another set of results now is awaited. And before that, there is good setup in the F&O segment. And the stock is quite resilient again. I mean, around 790, 785. My sense is it should move beyond 800 now. And that is where we are targeting around 830 or 835 on an immediate basis. So these two stocks from the pharma space can definitely be looked at.
Okay, guys, on that note, I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Bhavin and Amit, for joining us and taking us through their views. And on that note, it's a wrap in this edition of the F&O Show. For more updates in the F&O space, you can also check out our website, bloombergquint.com. That has plenty to go for with respect to futures and options, including a lot of data too that can help your trading out. But for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint, and we will keep bringing you more.